Hello and welcome to another Lawn Clippings video by Lawn Fawn. Today we are introducing our new set, A Good Apple. I love this set so much because it's perfect for teacher gifts at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year, so it's perfect timing right now. And also this chalkboard, you could put any sentiment inside of here. So not only is it good for teacher stuff, but it's good just for that cute chalkboard trend too. So let's go ahead and stamp this out and then make a fun project with it. The chalkboard fits perfectly on our 4x5" acrylic block. I just love this little frame. It is so cute. I'm going to start stamping out all the sentiments and the different ways that you can combine them. I love this large thanks because it's great for these teacher cards, but it's great for any other kind of thank you card too. What's so great about this set is that it works for the end of the year and the beginning of the year, so you can get a lot of use out of it between now and September and August. So the 4 great year is obviously great for the end of the year. The 4 inspiring me could be any time of the year. I love that we have a separate stamp that says teacher. That's going to be really useful. And you can put it at the end of thanks or at the beginning of another phrase like this, "You're a good apple." This would be a really good one for the beginning of the year. We also have this "You rule" sentiment, which is so fun because there is a coordinating ruler to go along with it. And of course, we have this awesome exclamation point, which is just perfect for adding to the end of any of these phrases. And we also have these fun little chevrons that kind of help you highlight different parts of your sentiment, so you can really get a cool chalkboard look with these. There are also some images that are great for kind of setting the chalkboard scene, like this eraser, and of course, a piece of chalk. There's also an apple too, which is perfect for teacher cards. Another great thing about this set is that you can use this chalkboard to highlight any type of sentiment. So here I have one from Hello Friend, but highlighting sentiments using alphabet stamps or other sentiment sets you may have would be perfect here. And it's great because it plays off that chalkboard trend and really creates kind of a fun card. The inside part of this frame is 2 inches high by 3 1/4 wide. So if you cut a piece of cardstock that size, it's going to fit perfectly on top of the chalkboard. I'm stamping out some chalkboards here so that I can go ahead and show you 2 different ways of layering these chalkboards. I love coloring the outside in the traditional brown, but it's also really fun to color the outside part of the frame in just fun wild colors like that aqua. Here we have our erasers. I like to color the top in just a tan and then use kind of a warm gray for the little eraser part of it. Some cool gray, really light around the chalk, helps it stand out just a little bit. And then of course some red for the apple. And a little green to top it off. I'm going to go ahead and cut out these frames, and there's 2 ways that you can cut these out. Right along the border like that one, or with a little white space around it, and I think it looks great both ways. One way you can do it is layering the cardstock over like I showed you earlier, but you can also cut out the inside part of the frame too. I'm using an X-Acto knife, but you could also use scissors. I think the X-Acto knife is pretty easy because it's just straight lines. And you'll see here you're left with a frame, and I'm not the best at the X-Acto knife, so what I do is when I have all those white pieces, I just use a black marker and color right over them, and that's my little trick for getting perfect looking lines on the inside and the outside of the frame too. I cut the frame 1/8 of an inch wider than that 2 by 3 1/4 on both sides, and now I'll be able to layer it right behind. And I have my 2 3/4 inch black piece that layers right on top. We're going to do some white heat embossing, so I'm taking one of these anti-static pouches. You could use a dryer sheet too, and I'm just putting it over the cardstock so the white heat embossing powder only sticks to where I want it to stick. We are going to be using Versamark, which is a sticky ink that the embossing powder will hold on to. So I'm going to go ahead and build my phrases like I did earlier in the video, using my embossing ink here onto my cardstock, and now using some white heat embossing powder to get that really bright white chalk on cardstock look. I like to store my heat embossing powders in little Tupperwares like these because I like to just spoon it on. I think it's a lot easier than trying to pour it from one of those little containers. I like to flick the back of my cardstock to make sure that all of the excess heat embossing powder comes off, and the anti-static pouch that we used at the beginning really helps with that. Now I'm repeating the same thing for the green cardstock piece. Putting on my heat embossing powder, and I'm going to do all my pieces at once and then heat them all together at the end. So I've stamped my little Hello Friend sentiment, and here I'm using the flowers from our Mother's Day set just to kind of fill in the whole area. I thought it would be fun to create a whole flower garden all the way around this If Friends Were Flowers, I'd Pick You from Hello Friend. Just add a little heat embossing powder, and we are ready to heat emboss. I love doing them all at once, since that way I already have the heat gun out. I can do a bunch all together. Step is to add that chalkboardy look. I'm using some white pigment ink and a dried up old baby wipe, but a paper towel is really good for this too. And I'm just lightly tapping the white ink and then just smearing it on the cardstock. And you can kind of buff it in so you'll really get that kind of messy chalkboard look. So I'm just kind of swiping it across. There's no wrong way to do this. Kind of just add it on until it looks messy. So on this green one, I added quite a lot of chalk. I really wanted it to look like a really well-used old classic chalkboard. So I'm just adding a bunch of that ink, and I kind of smear it on and then buff it in and just play around with it. This is super fun to do. I had a blast doing this. Just putting some adhesive down, and now I can layer this black piece right on top of the chalkboard. I think this is the easiest way to do it, but using it as a cutout frame is pretty fun too. To adhere that cutout frame, I'm just using some liquid glue all around the edges, and then I'll just layer it right on top of the green piece and get really a kind of cool dimensional look with the frame on top and the chalkboard behind. Now it's time to add all of my little elements that really fill in the chalkboard. You could use liquid glue or tape runner, glue dots, foam adhesive, just depending on how much dimension you want on your card. And here we have all three styles, which are all just adorable. Here is our Dewey Decimal 6x6 pad, which is perfect for this set. I'm going to go ahead and use the notebook style paper to layer my chalkboard on top of. And then some of our retro lawn trimmings hemp cord to tie around the card. A little foam adhesive adds some dimension to this clean and simple card. And then our new circle stackables and scallop circle stackables dies are going to add the perfect touch. I'm using the second smallest circle there, and then it's coordinating scallop circle. And you can see how perfectly they layer together. I love that that circle is the perfect size to make the apple a really cute focal point. I just love making my own little custom embellishments like this. And layering it right on top of that bow just makes a cute little presentation. I decided to round the corners there at the bottom just to add a little pizzazz. And that finishes off my super cute card. I decided to make a tag out of the green chalkboard, so I'm just punching a hole there in the center and using some of the peppermint lawn trimming, since it coordinated so well with the apple, to create a tag. And this is perfect for any kind of teacher gifts. You can add the tag right on, put a message on the back, and you can make quite a lot of these in a short amount of time. So that is a good apple. I absolutely love this set because you can mix and match all of these sentiments inside the chalkboard, making perfect teacher presents and cards for the beginning of the year and for the end of the year. So you can kind of mix and match the sentiments in a way that works for either both, now or in August and September. We have great icons that you can add to the chalkboards. It's some really fun sentiments to put together. You can also use the chalkboard with some of your other sentiments. This one is from Hello Friend. And so here we kind of created it's really cute and it'd be adorable on a card for a friend. So I love that the chalkboard is useful in a lot of different ways. The thanks is separate too, so that could work on so many cards. It's nice to have a nice big bold thanks. Here we did two different ways of putting the chalkboard together. You can layer a piece behind it by cutting out the center, or you can layer a piece just right on top. This way's my favorite because it's really easy to do. We also did some cool techniques with white pigment ink, creating that messy chalk look, and this one was left more clean and classic, so you can kind of go either way. I love that it would be easy to make a bunch of tags with this set. You could add them to all your teacher gifts. It'd be really, really sweet. And cards are really easy to make too. I just love this set. And we also use the new circle stackables and scallop circle stackables here too, which is really fun for creating little elements like that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.